We can start with Clark. Is Clark one?
Sure.
Again, just. Yeah, a little bit it's that third finger that keeps wanting to creep over. So you're like having to like extra move that third finger. Hold that first note so you get that nice good sound to try to keep throughout the whole thing. Make sure you're keeping the valves down. You know, just that last note, you're kind of just where the timbre changes a lot is because you know you're messing with the air design of the trumpet. I'd like to let's just turn.
Okay.
Let's see if we can maybe go all the way through. See what it sounds like.
Okay.
Take the rests. I know it's a blow. But that's what we're kind of going towards. Be really cool if maybe we could. I know you're probably playing something piano on the recital in December, at the 12th.
Probably.
Okay, this would be another piece that you could possibly do, maybe.
Hopefully.
Like I said, I mean, it's been sounding pretty good. You know, hopefully we've been working on going between that C and D a little bit, or at least hearing it a little bit more. You know, that's kind of what we worked on last night at least. All right, give it a shot. low because you're playing a little loud all the
Okay.
time. So like particularly here, like K, we have stuff like this. You're really starting this more of like a mezzo forte or forte,
Okay.
and then you're not getting any louder or getting softer. You're kind of just like playing this and this at like the same volume, and then we're not coming down at all. And so you're really just like attacking everything super aggressively in that, you know, in that lyrical section. I like that you fixed your D sharp the second time.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty out of tune. We had it today. We keep playing a rhythm wrong.
Where?
That's you keep like counting this as like almost like 3/4 measure,
Ah, okay.
and like you're not playing this on the end of 4.
Is it like on the end of 3?
Yeah. Well, you're playing it really funky. You're like playing it like almost like it's a quarter note on the end of 3 instead of on the end of 4. So like make sure that we have that. And that can get pretty soft. You've got to make sure that pitch stays, you know, up, and like the tone stays the same. Also, I was gonna add, I know we have like, you've hit all these high Bs that we have,
Yeah.
but there's technically a big retard before that. So we have this molto retardando
Yeah.
that, you know, we really need to kind of slow down more. You're kind of keeping the same beat. Even though it maybe feels like we're slowing down because we're playing just quarter notes instead of 8 notes, but you can slow down more if you need to.
Okay.
So like, you know, as much dynamically and as much as we can pull back. Yeah.
I just want to let you know that your phone is at my house.
Awesome. Do you want your shoes?
Can I leave this in here?
Yeah, that's fine. Were they just in the room?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure like it wasn't like in the driveway.
This is an iPad mount for a tripod.
Oh, nice.
And that's a tripod.
Does that fit the iPad Pro?
I assume so, otherwise why would they have bought them? But we're going to find out.
Okay. And I do have my iPad that I'm currently recording the lesson.
I'll be upstairs if you need anything in between stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sarah.
You're good.
Bye.
See,
What piece was that?
that's the Turrin Caprice.
I like that.
It's a good piece.
I could hear it like 100 yards away.
We're hoping this is the piece that you might be able to do in December, potentially, or if not December, in the spring sometime.
Yeah. Tell them about the recital stuff that you're doing in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
Just so he knows what's going on for
Yeah.
her senior capstone piano recital and then her honors recital. So.
Okay.
Alright.
I assume
Yeah.
you're doing like a full piano recital.
Yeah.
That's your major.
And then for honors, you have to do like an addition to your capstone. So I'll be doing like a trumpet composing sort of recital.
Okay. Like, are you going to compose for the trumpet?
Just whatever I end up composing will get played.
Okay. Are you
And
going to be playing it, or are you going to like have someone else play it?
Well, like I've got a piano piece that I composed, so I can play that.
Yeah.
And then I was hoping to play like one of these two
Okay.
on that, and then do. It's probably gonna be like half with somebody else, or maybe it'll just be like on the student recital.
So I'll let you know, like, I think playing your own piece is really, really cool, but it's a whole nother experience hearing someone else play your piece.
Yeah.
So if you can get someone else to play like your piano piece, or if you write a trumpet piece, if I could be here, I'll play it for you. But I think it's another experience getting to be like in the audience and listen to the piece that you wrote, and you're like, oh, maybe sounds a little different, or you know, or you realize that you didn't really write the inflection that you want because you might put it in when you play it,
Yeah.
but it's not exactly what's on the piece of paper.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Because when I originally just typed into the computer, I was like, okay, let's just type it in how I wrote it out, and then I'm like, the computer wouldn't be able to play this properly, or I don't think anyone looking at it. So I've been going through it.
Yeah, it takes a long time. You know, there's the idea of composing, and then there's the whole idea of editing to get exactly what you want.
Yeah.
I'm not good at the editing part. You know, I took composition lessons when I was in my master's, and it was like I would write pieces, and like I would never put any kind of articulation or any kind of phrase marking even half the time, and I got yelled at a lot for that. So I just leaving that out there. I think it's really cool for you to perform your own piece, but at the same time, I think you might get something more out of it, getting to listen to someone else play it.
Yeah.
Even maybe if it's not for your capstone, but just at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure what all is going to entail in that. There's probably a paper involved in the honors thing because he wants me to write a paper, but do some sort of project, something. I don't know what it's going to end up being in it.
Well, I think what would be really cool, I mean, and you can maybe throw this idea, is maybe you need to like create a portfolio of your works, you know, in the composition side, as well as like just recordings of you playing, you know, because a lot of times whenever you're applying to jobs or even for grad schools and things like that, I know you are, they ask for those things. You know, yes, having a CV and having a resume is really great, but at the same time, this is like, well, this is also the pieces that I've written. These are recordings of those pieces. Here's recordings of me playing Beethoven or Mozart or whatever piece you're playing, or Turrin, and just so that you can have that in there as well. You know, you can either make a paper copy or, in the digital age, making your own website that acts as a portfolio that someone can go look at. You know, if they want to go hire you to play, you know, that's what. Anyway, you can talk to your advisor about that. Yeah. That is my opinion, which I think makes sense in the music world, at least.
It does.
That's what a lot of people do.
I think you're willing over the crowds.
Oh no. All right, going back to Turrin here. I think the beginning section and the repeated I was probably the best I've heard it. The only thing I'm going to say about it is that you're slurring the entire thing.
Yes.
Right.
I realized that.
We got it.
I get like a couple bars in, and then I realize I'm slurring, and then I start tonguing, and then I forget when it gets towards the end. Yeah,
so like, I think it's really important that almost every time we have an A that begins a phrase, it's tongued. I think it is throughout this entire piece. You know? So we need to hear that. I think it makes a big difference in the idea of the composition, because we can also kind of tell the time signature because of that.
Yeah.
So it gives the audience something to listen to as well, rather than acting as if it's just like one huge long Clark study or flow study.
Yeah.
So remember to do that. Remember to play D sharps. I'm trying to think of anything else that was. I think dynamically we can just play softer. I think we talked about that. Other than at F. That's the one section. You're playing it great. It just needs to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
That's our Stravinsky section of this piece. There was one other thing I was going to say. There's a couple of times when we have longer notes in the lyrical sections where we're not holding the full value. I can't remember exactly where it happened. Or actually, it might have been at the end of like the A section. We're not holding like this all the way to 3 every time.
Okay.
So make sure we have that nice, beautiful sound all the way to B3. I understand that makes it a little harder to breathe.
Yeah.
But musically, that's what we need. From D to F is kind of our weakest section.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just fingers. And we're kind of messing up rhythms.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Exactly.
Again, I think it's just something you need to like almost sing through a few times.
Probably.
Because take the combination of finger issues out of it and just sing through it, just so you understand exactly what the rhythm is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's just do that. Just starting at like D. We'll just sing through it. I'm not a good singer. So I'll count at the beginning of the measure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Yeah, see, we keep losing something. I think you want to do these as almost marked eighth notes than triplets. Cause like instead of
Yeah.
right, we gotta be able to. Sorry, my A got a little squirrely first time. So that's probably the most technical passage in this entire thing.
Yeah.
Because we're just playing in thirds, but it's fast. And it's in that kind of awkward range, that mid-level trumpet range that is just really awkward at times. Because, we have a lot of different partial changes in that one little phrase. And it's only like, less than an octave. But we have 3 different partial changes happening. So I think that's something that you just need to work through.
Yeah, I keep working on it, and it gets a little better every time, but it's slow.
So let's fix some of these little mistakes. So start back at the beginning. Let's make sure we're tonguing the A's.
Yes.
And see if we can add a little bit more of like the hairpin action that's written. Try to make sure that the dynamics are not, they don't need to be overdone, but also make sure they're not messing with your rhythm. I was hearing, sometimes when we were trying to get loud, we got faster, but tonguing the A's definitely helped there. Let's go to A now, the next section. Start every phrase just softer. That's the goal. Because every phrase grows and then comes back. So I would just try to start everything softer, other than this first phrase. Because it's mezzo forte. It kind of will match what you did before. This is all supposed to be mezzo forte-ish. So this can start the same length, but every single one after this, try to start a little softer. Getting that C sharp to D sharp. Yeah, from an audience perspective, that's going to be way more engaging.
Okay.
What I find with most trumpet players is like we think we're doing dynamics, but then if we would really stand like 20 feet away from us, those dynamics are really not happening. So we need to almost just over-exaggerate a little bit more. And in this piece, you're literally going from piano to fortissimo at times. One thing I do hate about this piece is that he writes crescendo right here instead of putting like a marking of crescendo.
Oh, why?
Yeah, it's like one of the only parts where he does that. I guess there's a little one here too, but it's the same phrase-ish. Yeah, I don't like that. I like that to be more consistent in a work. If you're gonna write crescendo, just write crescendo the whole time, rather than. But I actually like seeing the visual marking.
Because then you know exactly where it is.
That's your composing lesson for the day. Make sure you write exactly what you want dynamically.
Well, this one kind of makes sense because it's over a long period of time, so you're just supposed to crescendo to.
Yeah, when it gives you an end point. I guess this one does too. This one does,
Sort of. So I guess I feel like it's not.
but at the same time, he could have just put a crescendo in there. But for the longer span of time, like, you know, the one where we have the crescendo poco a poco, it makes sense because it goes over like more than 2 bars. Anyway, I think that's pretty good. I won't make you play high B's a whole bunch, but make sure you're working with trying to slow this down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that B 3 and 4 are going into 1. Oh, there's another weird counting thing somewhere. I don't. And I'm not thinking of it. L to the end was a little weak. I think you were just kind of out of breath
Yeah.
from playing the high B. Again, you can take this Jazura kind of any way you want. Normally, you know, right when you come off the B, that's when L starts almost immediately after. But if you want to take a little bit of time, that's something that you just have to talk with your accompanist about. Be like, hey, can you just wait just, you know, another second before starting L so I can, like, you know, get the blood back into my lips.
Yeah.
Can we do the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Distracting tripod. It's good. I think you can start a little softer.
Okay.
And I think we're getting a little out of time with the ties.
Yeah.
So. You also have a tendency of wanting to play the first note of all these a little longer.
Okay.
And then you stay in time because you hit this on beat 1, but the issue is you're not playing, you know, 8 16th notes.
Yeah.
You're playing
An eighth note.
8 notes
and
in 30 seconds or 6 couplets or something weird,
Yeah.
right? So we gotta make sure, you know, we just hear 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Or 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. You know, it's almost, this whole piece is very, almost robotic at times. But, you know, just like, this is also the only opportunity that we really get to hear 16th notes in fluid like this, one after the other. We have this little flourish thing happening, but that's about it. So let's go back to L again. You know, try to, you know, you know, I would really hold off, you know, I think, you have a pencil?
Yes.
Maybe there's probably, I have one somewhere. I think what might help you is actually marking in dynamics of where this crescendo is happening,
Yeah.
rather than having it over, you know, 7 bars or whatever it is. Lots of ladybugs. It's winter time. You gotta get a winter one.
I had one with cats, but then it broke.
So what I gotta think about is, like, every time we have a tie, like after this first measure, I'm thinking about playing. Yeah, like, the next phrase is gonna be like a little louder, and then that slowly gets to be at forte, and then obviously we have this kind of bigger moment here, leading into fortissimo. So something like this.
Okay.
So we, you know, we're constantly thinking about crescendoing all the way through. Start it again. Yeah, and it's always that, like, last, you know, 5 notes that everyone's just like, oh no, I'm running out.
Yeah.
You just gotta let that air keep pushing through. All it is just faster air. So let's actually break it up to like work on the ending first. So like. So just work on the E to the B. Oh, is it after? That's right. Comes out a lot better that with the F. But don't like, you're literally like muscling it, like it just air. It's getting there. Let's back up to the A. But you're literally going da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-ga-da-ga-da-ga-da-ga-da. So 1, 2, ready. Don't slow down though. 1, 2, ready. It's alright. But that was right. Just the B didn't come out. Again. 1, 2, ready. Yeah, 1 and 2. Sorry. So let's do the B. Let's go from D. But like you feel like what you're literally going. That's what's happening every single time because you're literally physically changing everything, trying to get that B out.
Yeah.
But the A is coming out fine. The air difference between the A and the B is like that little, and you're trying to make it this big.
Yeah.
So think, again, try to keep everything calm. Everything staying the same. It does. I mean, it is more air, but that's it. Yeah.
There we go.
That came out so much better.
Yeah.
And you didn't change.
Yeah.
Somehow along the way, this is what happens with every trumpet player. We all hear some high note trumpet player. For most people, it's hearing Mander Ferguson for the first time or something like that. And we hear them like, we want to do that. So we try to figure out how to play high without really going to an instructor.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, if I really push this really hard against my face and scratch my eyes, I can play really, really high. But it sounds like that.
Yeah.
And that, for some reason, we attach that to playing every high note. That's not exactly what happens. If you have all the physical ability to play that high note, you're literally just trying to put more air behind than what you need. You're like putting enough air to play an F sharp above that.
Oh.
You just don't realize it.
Okay.
Like you're just overshooting it. So if you keep calm and just let the scale happen naturally, more than likely that B will come out. But we gotta play all the other notes beforehand. Correct. Well, that's you playing F natural.
Is it?
Yeah, it's both F naturals. If I've been playing F sharp, I'm sorry. But
Have I been playing F sharp on the first one? I have no idea.
play again. There you go.
Yeah.
It's coming, and the more you work on playing that correctly, you'll get a better success rate every single time.
Yeah.
So we might have been playing F sharps because it starts on G.
Probably.
That's my fault.
That's probably just
Because we're just playing major scales, but we gotta play mixolydian. It's alright. It's getting there though.
Yeah.
I guarantee if you just do that for the next week, don't try to force everything. Every beat that we have, everything that we have is going to come out a lot easier.
Yeah.
Given it does take a lot of air to do forzato, piano, crescendo to fortissimo doing that, but if we learn to play it correctly, that would become a lot easier. So, don't push.
Yeah.
You've been playing trumpet for a while. You have the natural ability to play that note easier.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, you want to go to the Barat?
Yeah.
might be the biscuits and gravy that I had. Alright. Can we start on the second half of this?
Yes.
The scherzo part? Bum, 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 bum. It's better than what it's been. I'm starting to hear that lighter style, but I'm not hearing the 16th notes. They almost sound like they're slurred rather than being tongue. You know?
Yeah.
That was very mellow, how I play that. No dynamic change at all.
Yeah.
Didn't exactly like it, but it was clean. So that's the first step. Just making sure it's clean, and then we can add the other musical elements. Let's try again. Yeah, just do that measure. Da-da-dum-dum. Sounds so much better. Right?
Yeah.
You know, just that little bit of cleanliness really makes that kind of pop a lot easier. And it also helps that lighter style. Alright, let's keep going. Flat.
Flats, yes.
Rushing all the.
Am I?
If you're going bum bum ba-dum ba-da ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. You're like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum.
Okay.
I mean, we can take it faster, but I want to make sure everything's going to stay clean. Also, all these little hiccups, I'm going to call them, have accents.
Yes.
So make sure we really are tonguing them. Sorry, I'm reading accidentals wrong. Timing wise, we're a little off. Bum, bum, ba-da, ba-da. You wanted to hold this a little bit too long. Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah.
So it's not as fast as what you originally wanted to go.
Yeah.
With the 16th notes. What will help this is just, I mean, that's a hard. Is just kind of playing Clark in B flat minor, which
Yeah.
sounds evil, but you know it's going to help you just get this combination down,
Yeah.
and then also going from that. Just doing that in that low range, just to kind of understand what it is. But the other one you're playing really well. Let's keep going. Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, so bum 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 bum. Yeah, make sure we don't get too aggressive sounding still.
Okay.
I think it can still be lighter, but have a crescendo. I still like to play these a little on the shorter side. So like, and also there's a slur here. I know it's really small.
Oh yeah.
So we still have that idea of playing light, but there's still, you know, the meat there. So not long. I missed a note. I played A natural. Yeah. So just making sure these are all the same length, basically.
Okay.
You tend to want to get longer as you're getting louder. Does that make sense?
Got it.
You're like. Yeah. Yeah. Now it's getting to hear the G.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best time you played it. Let's back it up. Do the same thing when we get there. Yeah. You just rushed ever so slightly.
Okay.
You're kind of just wanting to move ahead. Good. Let's get to the pretty section, that I call it, in this piece. I think duple.
Yeah.
You're kind of thinking da 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 da.
Yeah.
Bum bum ba da dum ba da da. So if we looked at this as being, instead of thinking of this in 3/8 or thinking of it in 1, if we think of it this as in 3/4, then we have 1 and triplet. So bum bum ba da dum bum 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 bum. Think of it that way. So a lot of that is just fingers.
Yeah.
Making sure the fingers are staying nice. Not perfect, but you can kind of hear what's going on. This used to be like a little flourish. Like we're just like tossing it.
Okay.
Also, make sure we're kicking for D flat. Mine was really hard, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Again, this piece brings up a whole other technicality of playing it on C trumpet rather than B flat trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most everyone plays on a B flat, but that'd be fun. You also like hard keys.
Yeah.
I think you played F sharp here. You played F natural.
I did.
Yeah, make sure we're playing at F natural. It is F sharp
it's-
before,
Yes, that's why. I think
but
that's,
we need to have the F natural here. And then also making sure that we're getting the sixth tuplet. You're tending to want to play all these notes later. So da 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 bum ba dum da 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 da.
Okay.
It's just taking triplets into the eighth notes. That's all that's happening, right? And it's just major scale. Well, sorry, Lydian scales, right?
Yeah.
So we have, F Lydian, A flat Lydian, because we're on the B flat. So let's do the same thing. Let's play it together.
Okay.
Just from that tempo mark. Yeah, I think you're just staying a little aggressive when doing scales.
Okay.
So where you're almost wanting to overshoot each time. Just a scale. And play again. Yeah, don't think of it going, yeah, but
It's another one of those. I think I'm pushing on the last note.
it's what's happening,
Yep.
and it's not even that high of a note.
Yeah. It's,
Right?
It's an A flat.
Exactly. So what's happening is we're actually we're going from this warm sound, this fogging up the air, kind of to going, and trying to push it out, and that's where we're getting that timbre change, and we want to try to completely get rid of that.
Okay.
All right, you know what you need to do. A lot of it's just fingers there. Let's go on to this next little section. And we have the retardando.
Yep.
Okay, good. Let's keep going.
And then.
A.
Okay. A natural.
Mhm.
And
Take it slower.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
So what it is, it's another Lydian, kind of E flat Lydian
Yeah.
kind of scale, but we're starting on the A. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's another one we just got to take it a little slower, kind of work your way down to it again, like we did at the end of the Turrin. Because you're wanting to condense the last notes a little too much to where we're not exactly hitting them.
Okay.
Again, this just is all light. Make sure. can choose how you want to do this. It doesn't have to be ripping from the bottom or anything like that. You can kind of mess with it a little bit, put your own artistic flair. Any questions?
No.
All right.
I think I know where to work on now. It's good.
Yeah, sounds good. Like I said, I will be here on that